Hey guys, welcome to the basement. No, I did not participate in Black Friday or Cyber Monday or Small Business Saturday, none of that stuff. That doesn't mean I didn't get a TV. So apparently one of my neighbors did buy a new TV, and they put the old one out in the alley. Drove by it a couple times, second pass, couldn't resist it. Fortunately, it got rained on, but when I looked up the specs of this thing, I knew I had to take a chance. It's a few years old, but this thing was the bomb when it was new. Unfortunately, it was out in the rain for a few hours. It's still wet. I'm not going to plug it in right now. I'm going to let it dry for a while. If I had a giant tub I could put it in with some rice or some desiccant, I would, but I don't, so I can't. So I'm just going to let it sit out here where it's pretty darn dry this time of year. It's pretty dry in the house. It's fairly warm down here, so I think it'll dry out all right. It was on its side when it was raining, so all the moisture at least should have gone to one end. So from this side you can see it's a big black slab, really thin bezel. For its time, that was a pretty remarkable feat. By its time, I think this is from 2013, so that would make it almost 7 years old. It's an LG 55-inch. I'll turn it around and show you the model and rattle off some of the specs. Boy, this is more damp than I realized. A nice puddle of water there, and you can see it's got plenty of moisture on the back. So I'll get some paper towels at least and dry that down, and maybe I'll see about taking the back off. So what is it? Well, it's an LG 55LA 7400 UD, February 2013. Looks like we've got some decent controls on the side here because I don't have the remote for it. Nor do I have the stand, which looks pretty nifty from what I saw online. Maybe I can dig one up. Looks like they may very well have used like a wall mount or something because these mounting holes look a little distressed. So what can this thing do? I say it has good specs. So 1080p, that kind of is a given. 240 hertz refresh, which is pretty sweet. LED backlit, it's pretty darn thin. As you saw, basically no bezel to it. Tons of inputs, but it's also a smart TV. Built-in Wi-Fi and apps, and it can probably natively do Netflix and Amazon Prime Video and all that, maybe. Now, it is 6 years old. Hopefully there have been some firmware updates and whatnot, so it still will be compatible. It's also got pretty good audio specs. Sure it would sound better with a sound bar, but even as is, it's pretty nice. And this bottom piece looks kind of different. I wonder if there is some kind of sound bar subwoofer down here, because it's a separate piece. This is metal, this is plastic, and it's thicker. So I wonder what that's all about. Looks like this back comes off pretty easily. Just a bunch of Phillips screws around the perimeter. Certainly help it dry out faster. Oh, I see there's also LAN there if I wanted to skip the Wi-Fi and hardwire it. Cool. I have no idea if this thing works. If it doesn't, just go right back out in the alley, but hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Even if it's got some flaws, some vertical lines in it, it'd make a great shop TV. And if you're wondering about the TV I got a couple years ago, a year ago, it had some issues with vertical lines and some screen would occasionally freak out. I kind of gave up on that one. It's out in the garage. I still have it, but I don't intend to fix it. And TVs have advanced so much and gotten so much cheaper. That thing uses so much power. I just assumed get a new one. Well, that's kind of interesting. Whole bunch of little screws. I had to take off around the perimeter, left, right, top, and then its whole thing kind of just lifted up out of that piece of plastic on the bottom. Just a thin piece of metal. And there she is. Oh, I should mention one other feature of this TV. Apparently it's 3D. So, what have we got? Well, I guess that'd be the sound unit. Looks to be a self-contained module. See, there's plenty of moisture that got in here. Control panel. Power supply. Okay. Don't see any obvious bulging caps. Samyang. I'm not familiar with that brand. NXB. Giving a little sniff test. Smells electronic-y, but not like charred electronics. And then this would be, I'm guessing, well, the heart of things. Could this be everything on it? Wi-Fi, various input decoders, and everything. I suppose. I also suppose if the problem is one of these boards, I could go on to eBay and find a replacement. Don't know how much money I'd want to sink into this. And so let me be clear, I have no expectations that this isn't just going to turn this on, it's going to work perfectly. This cost a lot of money when it was new. I don't recall exactly how much, I'll have to look it up, but certainly hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And yes, technology advances, it's 6 years old, so maybe it works fine and somebody got a bigger, better one and just put it out in the alley. Maybe. I mean, I'll give them this, that they didn't throw it out there. It didn't get damaged. They could have tossed it in the alley. They didn't. They just set it down. The bezel screen, no damage. Nobody kicked it in. Nobody dropped it. So there's that. I don't live in that wealthy neighborhood, though, that people just go around tossing out giant flat screen TVs that work perfectly. But we shall see. So I'm going to kind of blot this dry, let it sit for a day or two, and then try to power it up. Oh yeah, and so down here, still not quite sure. I can see there's wires going down there. It might become some kind of subwoofer bar. I can see some of the wires that are going into this. Going down there, though, it could just be power, I don't know. I suppose while I'm waiting for this to dry out, I could dig up a user guide service manual and see what I could find out. I noticed there was some moisture getting down into that plastic strip, so I ended up taking that off too. And down in there are a couple small speakers and a number of sensors, maybe infrared detector and maybe the Wi-Fi stuff. Also took a little look-see online about this model. Turns out it cost about $2,300 plus when it was new. So, wow, a little bit higher end than I realized. Also, since it's 6 years old now, quite a few spare parts. Like this board I'm looking at right here, this power supply. Get one used, supposedly working for $50-$60. That controller board down there is similar. And get a stand for about $50-$60 too. So that's all cool. I also got to scrounge up a power connector. It's not quite the same as the ones like you see in computers and stuff, so a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna see if I can get one at work. Otherwise, I might have to pick one up just to see if this thing is. Let's just even try to turn this thing on. But now I'm a little more inclined to spend a few more bucks. Like if this board seems to be dead, yeah, I'd drop $50-$60 for a replacement. Well, it's been about 24 hours, and I don't see any visible moisture. I am anxious to try turning the set on, but I think it'd be a good idea to go over it with a hairdryer first, just to make sure. Now, on the way to work today, I stopped off at the house where I found this, and I was hoping to find the stand for it. I didn't find the stand. I did see a giant box, which I presume contained the replacement TV for this one, which was even bigger. I think it was a 65-inch TV, 4K pixel, smart TV fully loaded, so they did indeed replace a high-end TV with another high-end TV. I didn't find the stand, but poking out from underneath that box, I saw a little something. Move the box, and voila! It's the remote control for this TV. And boy, am I glad I found it. I was curious, I just noticed it blinked red. That means the batteries are low. I'm glad I found this because this isn't just your average run-of-the-mill remote control. Yeah, it's got your volume up, down, channel up, down. It's got a scroll wheel here, which is kind of curious, and left, right, up, down. But I watched some videos, some demonstration videos on YouTube of this TV. This thing has a motion sensor inside of it. Or at least one guy said it has a gyroscope, but I think it might work in conjunction with this base. Kind of like the Wii controllers, or some video game controllers. There's a couple sensors in this bar down here. Regardless, the point is, you can sense 3D motion with this TV, with this remote control. So for example, this TV has a built-in web browser. To type in the address of the website you want to go to, you can bring up a virtual keyboard, and you move around the remote, pick the letter you want, and click one of these buttons, I forget which one, and it'll select the letter. Hunt and peck. They're also built-in games, and you can use this as a controller for the games, so pretty nifty thing. I imagine a replacement costs a few bucks, so I'm glad I found this. Of course, all this is pointless if the TV doesn't actually work. Speaking of work, I was able to get a power cable there. We did have a spare one lying around, so this should fit in here, or maybe the other way around. Yep, cool. So, get this thing good and dry. Try powering it up. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, thank you. So, plugged in, ready to go. Appropriately leaned against an old picture tube. So here goes nothing. Huh. Literally. Oh, wait a minute. Huh, wow. Well, that looks pretty darn messed up. Oh, hey, but wait a minute. Maybe a little messed up, but it's actually friggin' working. So I don't know if that's a backlight issue or what. I did see a tutorial on replacing them. I mean, something's a little goofy, but geez, the thing turned on. And it's trying to go through an HDMI. It's not valid. So, let's see. This is the source button. As I said, if nothing else, if I use this for just a shop TV, a very, very overkill shop TV just for looking at schematics and stuff, hey. Nice. Alright, well, I'm going to put the back on this thing and put it right side up and play around with the remote. Okay, moved it to the other side of the shop. Got it back on, got it plugged in, got the remote. Hey, the logo's glowing. Set's turning on, the remote actually works too. Cool. Well, let's try the smart button. Hey, look at that. So, yes, that is pretty darn cool. I actually have an antenna plugged in. I don't know how you select something. Okay, you push that scroll wheel. Sure. Oh, that's weird. So before it was ripply on the left, but now I can see that there's a dark line down the center. Sure. Let's auto tune. Okay, I have done that. Let's go. Found some channels. Well, I'll let this scan for a while. I suspect it's going to take a few minutes. So obviously we got some kind of weird issue. I mean, I thought there was maybe a 5% chance this thing was actually going to turn on and do something. I never expected it would actually pretty much work except for that bizarreness. Now, it could be that it's just wet. Because I had this thing on its side, or actually it was on its side when it was in the alley, so from the video I saw, there are like strips of LEDs that run, I think, left to right, and then there's a diffuser panel, so maybe there's just some moisture in there. So let's get a good look at that, and then it's getting kind of late. I will take another look in the morning and see if things look any different. But before that, of course, when the channel scanning's done, we'll see what actual reception looks like, and I'm kind of curious to hear what the sound is like. It finished scanning, and wow, that is a really, really nice picture, aside from the obvious weirdness. See, this is one of the sub-channels, clearly not 1080p. But this is, should this have very good reception down here though. There's Cozy TV, some vintage programming. Definitely not high def. But no sound. Whenever I hit sound, I just get this symbol down there. So maybe it's set up for external speakers or something. I'll go back to the menu. Settings. Sound out external speakers. There. Come on. Yeah.
That's why we moved out here. Whatever happened in my past, those memories will never go away. Still deal with daily pain, but the main thing for me that hurts me is just anxiety.
Apparently, if I got some 3D glasses, we could
feel like I'm learning to deal with it.
get 3D.
And therapy. And just learning.
Meanwhile, even with the backlight issues,
I got out of the military when I was
for casual
I've essentially been retired.
viewing, I could deal with this.
And I wasn't much of a husband or a father. Since I've started to kind of get it.
Wise guys bring you brains.
It's funny you can get the cursor on programming too. Star Trek.
3 ships are on an intercept course.
That's cool. When you're in the main menu, you can still see the TV over there. So I think I did a factory reset on this thing to try to, like reinitialize it. Some people that had that issue with the black band kind of coming and going said that reinitializing their system helped. And boy, I gotta think this is from moisture that seeped down. I swear it looks different than it did earlier. It's been about a day and a half now. I think there used to be a couple more splotches like that. Now it's just down to the one. So we'll see. If I have to, I can take the frame apart. I'd rather not if I don't have to, but I did find a tutorial on how to do it. Finished going through the setup. Everything seems to work just fine so far. Just logged into YouTube. TV does have pretty good sound too, I gotta say. Not as great as a soundbar would have, but better than your typical cheapo flat screen TV. Some more markings on the electrolytics. Not Miller Roll branded tubes, so that's not too. So, assuming that that funkiness on the right side goes away, and this keeps working, it's one heck of a find, I gotta say. So, I was talking about having a shop TV. Mainly to view schematics and search for stuff online, and maybe edit videos on it and stuff too. So, if it would fit, like maybe in there, like put it on that that ledge there, and if it, I think it's short enough, it would fit underneath the floor joist, and I think it would just fit in that space right over there quite nicely. It's kind of interesting to like hang it from the ceiling, like I want some kind of like gimbal or something, but I think that's a little beyond what I want to do right now. Yeah, so I am slowly in the process of rearranging things. I've made a number of purchases recently. You'll be seeing more of it in the future, but like all the stuff is going to go and get rearranged. As soon as I get some of these projects I really got to get done and get them out of here, and then I'm going to focus on redoing this work area, and hopefully this will be part of it. If not this, something else. I got to get some kind of display down here, some kind of computer set up. So that's going to be it for now. Wow, I gotta say, it's worth taking a gamble now and then. Kind of amazed somebody threw this away.